When there's no more room in hell, the zombies will roam the earth and they will start a podcast. Hi,
Me?
this is Chris from Cinematic Anarchy, and go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys, because I keep doing it for you.
I know, right? What the fuck is up, guys?
You just do it so well.
Sometimes.
Hey there, Christian. Happy to be back.
Yeah, I called you out for that, but like you've been on like one other podcast, so I can't say that I've introduced you more than once. And
Miss
over
B.
there, yeah, I was gonna say
Honeydew,
over there,
what's
who
up?
You called yourself out and then didn't even say your name.
Yeah, they know me by now.
I should hope so. At this point, we are tens and tens of listeners.
Right?
We're working our way up there. We can almost say tens of hundreds, tens to almost hundreds. We're close.
We're getting
Depending
there.
upon which format we're listening to.
Share with your friends, and then we won't be so confused about how to say how many listeners we have.
Right?
Give us bigger numbers to call out. That's all I'm asking. Just bigger numbers. That's it. We're getting a little traction here and there. Find us on Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere where you find your favorite podcasts. And tonight, we are going to be talking about the third, and yes, I do realize we skipped over the first film in this series, but we're talking about the third film in the original George Romero Dead series, Day of the Dead, which was
Yeah.
This was directed by George Romero himself, of course, and we had special effects makeup by Tom Savini, the king of gore, starring Laurie Cardellini as Dr. Sarah Bowman, Terry Alexander as John Amplis as Ted Fisher. We have Joseph Pilato as Captain Henry Rhodes, Jareth Conroy as Bill McDermott. We have Anthony DeLeo, as Miguel Salazar, Richard Liberty as Dr. Matthew Logan, and last but not least, Sherman Howard as the lovable Bub. This film had about a $3.5 million budget and made about $5 million worldwide, so it was probably the least successful of the original trilogy.
Well, so the budget thing is kind of interesting with this movie. Originally, they were trying to work out a larger budget, and I think it was something around $7 million or so. But the studio wanted an R rating so that they would get more views. And so there ended up being a few rewrites because of that. But yeah, the studio offered a $7 million budget to make an R-rated film. Romero wasn't so on board for that. Eventually, another studio came forward. I've seen some conflicting things online if it was the same studio or a different one. But eventually, they ended up with $3.5 million for the unrated version. But they did have to cut back a lot of the things in the original script. One of the interesting things I found was that originally Romero described the movie as him wanting to make the Gone with the Wind of zombie films.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like an epic length, very long film. I think he had come in at like 240 pages or something like that.
Yeah,
it was going to be a lengthy film, like twice the film that it ended up being.
And they cut back quite a bit. Yeah, I think there were around 5 rewrites, and each iteration sort of a smaller scope in the narrative to reflect that budget they had. It did end up making around, I think, 5.6 domestic, but actually did better internationally. So I believe at the end of it, it cost right about that 3.5 million. It made around 34 million worldwide. And so, yeah, it pulled in like 28.2 million internationally, and overall wound up doing okay. But yeah, domestically didn't resonate quite as well.
I have to be looking at the wrong information here. I am completely looking. Okay, because what I got was like it made like 5 million. locally, or sorry, not internationally, but locally here in the U.S. and Canada,
Yep.
and then worldwide, the gross was like just a tick up to 5,100,000.
Interesting.
That's what IMDb has it set at. So I'm probably looking at the wrong place. Maybe Wikipedia has better information than that. Because that didn't sound right. It didn't sound right that it had so small an international base when it first came out. Just considering how many films George Romero has inspired in Italy alone. There's a lot of fantastic like Italian horror films that are based off of his, and even attempting to be sequels to his original Dead series.
Yeah, we had a lot of offshoots, especially after Zombie, Zombi, which was headed by Argento, and related, of course, to Dawn of the Dead.
That was technically what he was trying to do, was like Dawn of the Dead 2 or something to that nature, and I guess he didn't have permission to do that, so Zombie. Well, there's like, I think, 5 or 6 films in the Zombie series, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, I don't quite know.
I think I have one of them on my shelf here somewhere. I have entirely too many films. So overall, does anybody, or has anybody had any experience with this film prior to having watched it for the podcast this evening?
I'm pretty sure I watched it once, like years ago. Like I remember a lot of bits and pieces of like scenes and shit, but don't
No?
remember what it was.
Do you
That's a
remember?
roundabout way to say I don't know.
I don't know. I have no fucking idea. But like
Okay.
I know I've seen it. Or maybe I'm just crazy and fucking had a permanent. I don't know. Or I just
Maybe
watch
it
a lot
just
of zombie
feels
movies.
familiar. Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing. Bub has popped up like everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've seen like little clips of Bub in so many other films. So I mean, you may have just seen something that had already or used part of this film.
I fucking love Bub.
How about you, Christian?
I have not seen it before. I actually hadn't seen any of the Romero trilogy. It was a bit of a blind spot in my movie watching. And I thought originally we were doing Dawn of the Dead, and then watched Day of the Dead. And to make sure I did my homework, I watched Night of the Living Dead as well. So I have very quickly learned and experienced a lot of this. And I have thoughts.
I made the misstep of trying to do this whole thing out of order. So we'll approach Night of the Living Dead after all of this, the film that started it all. But yeah, no, this film in general I've seen at least a good 20 to 30 times. Just because I love the gore in the film and the special.
Yeah.
I want to call them special effects, but they're practical effects.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't really a whole lot in the way of special
the 80s
effects
did gore
then.
real fucking well.
Right. I want to say that Tom Savini said it best. There is nothing that splats, falls, or sits as well as actual guts. And he used actual pig guts for this film. The same set of pig guts. And one of the fun things is the gentleman that played Captain Rhodes in the film. They had gone on to film some other things and had left that facility for a little while. So basically there were 2 scenes where they had to use the guts. They used it hit the floor, then they put it back in the fridge. They used it again, it hit the floor, they put it back in the fridge. And when they went away for like a week or 2 to go shoot some of these other scenes, somebody had unplugged the fridge while they were gone.
Oh no.
They did not have enough money in the budget to buy new guts. And so Captain Rhodes there had to do this entire scene with the guts, which basically had long since expired. All of these zombies in the scene got like nasal plugs to be able to plug up their like earplugs to plug up their nose so they couldn't smell anything. But he had to power through the entire. I think they said it was like a 3 to 4 hours worth of filming with those guts on top of him, and it reeked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the tight budget really does shape a lot of like what the movie ends up, and I think, you know, in a lot of ways for the better. They did have to get creative in a few spots, and unfortunately it does result in some things like having to use rotting intestines for your shots that were often like kind of one and done situations. Like, yeah, fun times
It
for everyone on set there.
kind of puts into perspective his last few words in that scene where he's just yelling, "Choke on it! Choke on him!"
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was just thinking.
because he's choking on himself. So you choke on him
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
Which that line actually was ad-libbed by Joe Pilato. Day of filming, you know, he felt like his character would have something to say, that he would go down fighting. So he talked to Romero and, you know, proposed the choke on him line, and Romero was all for it. And so, you know, that's what they went with. This was another situation where it was a one and done type shoot, so it has to work. And in this case, I would say it did.
You know, they actually saved themselves a lot of money in their budget by the way that they paid their extras.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
this.
A lot of their extras were paid simply by getting he gave them all hats that said I was a zombie in a George Romero film, a copy of the newspaper from the beginning of the film that say that what the dead walk.
Yeah, the Dead Walk, and it was signed by Romero.
And they were all paid the tidy sum of $1.
Yeah, a nice crisp dollar bill.
What the fuck?
But I mean, to be able, maybe back then it might not have held as big a weight. But
Yeah.
to be able to say that you were a zombie in a George Romero film, you know who I want to find? If you're out there, if you're watching this episode, I want to find the majorette from the beginning of the film. Because that was one of my favorite zombies in the entire film, the majorette. There were a handful of good ones. I actually wrote down all the unique zombies that just wandered out in throughout the film.
Wait, so I was looking at the cast list and like they named these zombies fucking silly as hell.
There are a couple of zombies that they did give pretty interesting names to.
Portly, bearded, denim-shirted zombie walking out of First National Bank with alligator.
Yeah.
Pompadour hairstyled zombie in Steele's death scene. Gaunt mustachioed white striped sweater zombie shot by Steele and Mines.
Okay, I've got one for you. There's two zombie names that really stood out to the point that their names came up in several documentaries. Can you name the two that stood out?
1 second.
Long silence.
I don't know.
I can give you the names.
I would hope
I'm looking at the
that it
cast
was the
list.
one
I'm
Nico
thinking.
shared.
Okay. Neither of them are going to show up on the cast list.
Okay, all right.
Okay, here we go.
Goddamn.
We're
In the
going off
beginning of the
books.
film, there is a zombie that has no jaw.
Right.
That's just kind of wandering around. That was entirely like a puppet that they made.
Oh,
They
wow.
used a casting of Tom Savini's face, and I guess he was a little too rough with it and accidentally ripped the jaw off.
Mm.
And so they just kept it that way and made it up with the tongue hanging out. That one is named
Yeah, it
Dr.
works.
Tongue. So Dr. Tongue is that one.
Dr. Tongue.
I love that.
Later on in the film, there is, I'm guessing, the guy that was the colonel or whatever to begin with that our good Dr. Frankenstein was operating on, and the only thing that you could see of it left was its brain or part of
Right.
its brain.
I love that one.
That one was literally named Camel Clit.
Mm.
What?
Wonder
Because
who.
Tom Savini felt that it looked like the clit of a camel. So,
Why does Tom Savini know what a camel's clit looks like?
hey, look, I don't
Why
judge
are
anybody
we-
for what
Why
they look
are
up
we trying
for
to figure
porn.
out those things? That's fucking silly. What did I say? It's silly.
Now you can add to this if you felt any of them. I missed anything, but the only ones that I saw in there, I saw the clown zombie. There was a butcher zombie with his leather apron. There was a ballerina zombie partway through. We had a bride and groom zombie in there, and I'm guessing a couple of groomsmen as well. There was the short king football player zombie. There was the weird cowboy zombie, graduation day zombie, surgeon zombie. There was a baker, the majorette, and then one chomping a cigar that kind of made me go, Winston Churchill zombie.
Mm.
Or possibly Teddy Roosevelt. One of the two. I couldn't. Ooh, what is that?
What is what?
Zombies are coming for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it sounded like the death of an old printer from the 1980s.
Oh, God.
Whatever that was. This weird noise just came through. Shit happens. Did you guys notice anything else?
Oh, well, so...
Oh, God.
Yes.
Yes.
Before we get too deep in here...
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to start from the beginning and then go on from there, so... Unlike what I normally do.
Well, I was going to say, maybe we want to give a short little synopsis.
Yes, the synopsis of the film.
And so, for our little description of Day of the Dead here, right? In the aftermath of a zombie apocalypse, a dwindling group of civilians, scientists, and soldiers shelter in an underground military bunker, desperately searching for a solution. Tensions mount between the pragmatic but ruthless military commander and the idealistic scientists, especially over experiments on domesticated zombies, including one named Bub. As resources and patience run out, mistrust boils over.
So, fun little story. I guess that Sherman Howard tells everyone, the gentleman that played Bub. I guess he did not realize how much of a following he had, or Bub had, in the, I guess, female community. And some lady or some girl came up to him during a convention of some sort and literally just dropped trow in front of him and had a picture, a very detailed picture of Bub's face on her ass.
That is commitment.
So
Love her.
That is commitment to the love of the character. And you gotta love Bub.
Yeah.
Of course. My heart broke for him when he saw the Dr. Dade.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of love for the Doctor at all. Dr. Frankenstein there.
But he did. Bob had love for him. And we got love for Bob.
Therefore, by the transitive property.
Nope, still don't like him.
No.
Bub loved him because Bub was taught by him, but also because, like any... this is the best way that I can put it. It was about to turn into
warm bodies. Bub was about to cure the zombie virus with the power of love.
No, the best way that I can put it is you feed a dog, the dog comes back to you, the dog loves you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And this guy, even though, because you could teach a dog all day long, dog's not going to give you any love because you taught him, but you give him a little treat every time you teach him something. Give him a little food every time you teach him something.
It's going to eat you.
No, dogs will wait longer than my cat will.
Well, yeah, but either way, he's still going to get eaten.
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later. You keep popping out of frame, Miss B. I can't do anything but call you out for it because I can't. Anybody that's listening to us in audio is not seeing a damn thing. But if they watch us on YouTube, they're going to see
Can't
that.
prove anything if they don't watch.
Well, I guess they can't prove anything. Yeah, that's fine. So, starting at the beginning of the movie, this entire film starts with a fun dream sequence. We have our main character, Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah. Dr. Sarah Bowman.
Dr. Sarah Bowman, who is sitting alone in what I'm imagining is in her dream. It's a dream sequence. It's a room with no walls, no doors, concrete room, and just a calendar sitting across the way of a lovely scene, a field of pumpkins, and it's October. So wherever they are, this is supposed to be a a base or I don't know what they described it as. It was a facility somewhere in Florida. I'm guessing they're trying to pass it off as a military facility. This is actually the facility itself is somewhere in Pennsylvania. It's
Yeah, yeah, it's like a old missile silo kind of facility. And with that opening scene, we get the sense they've been there a while. We have our pumpkin calendar full of red X's. I do believe that for like the exterior shots, they were in Florida, and then interior, as Chris said, in Wampum Mine, just outside of Pittsburgh. And Romero, a Pittsburgh native, did tend to work pretty locally, so that all tracks.
this former mine turned into a
Always got
storage
to be fucking
facility.
Florida.
I guess they said that the facility itself was around like it was a lot of like 2.5 million square feet of space down there that the government currently uses for storage. Government and I guess there are films that are kept down in that area as well. So old reels of film in their canisters.
I'll still never forgive the MoMA for having
No?
basket case goddamn bitches.
I told you why that was in the MoMA. It was in there because of all of the historic buildings and scenery that was within that particular low budget film. It had nothing to do with the film itself.
Yeah, but still.
MoMA wasn't like, oh, you know what? Basket case, that is a work of art. No, it had nothing to do with that. They're preserving it because of all the scenery. That pretty much a lot of it doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of those buildings, a lot of those businesses, the facades, nothing. But we're not talking about basket case, and I haven't made you watch the other two films. You bring it up again, I'm making you watch the other two.
Oh,
like
gross! No,
Beetlejuice.
you can't make me. You're not my dad.
I can make it a requirement. I can make it a requirement.
Some homework.
And this one of the lovely little tidbits about this scene is this is one of the few scenes they had to record twice. Because the initial try, they didn't stabilize the wall enough, and when the zombies all popped their hands out to go and try to get Sarah, the first time the whole wall collapsed on top of her, and the zombies kind of toppled on top of her, and thankfully the wall was made kind of lightweight, because if it was any heavier than that, she probably would have hurt her.
Yeah.
Another fun tidbit is there is one arm that was related, or not related, but her husband was one of the zombies.
Okay.
He insisted upon getting the zombie arm that was in and around her breast area so that nobody kind of errantly touched her inappropriately.
Good for you, Hubs.
This is certainly before any intimacy coordinators on set. I guess he took it into his own hands to put it one way or another.
Outside of the zombies themselves, she was the only female part of the cast, and apparently it was a primarily male crew. So, having her husband around is probably a good idea. Keeps things a little bit more copacetic,
Yeah.
Keeps her safe. And we move from that into a flyover of the Florida area where her and the on-screen boyfriend,
Miguel?
Was it Miguel? Yes. Along with John and
Billy.
Sorry, John and
McDermott.
Ted.
Was John and Ted or John and Bill?
Is it Bill? John and Bill?
Yeah.
My apologies. I got the two mixed up. So John and Bill.
Different classic movie.
Different. Well, I said John and Ted, so that would have been the spin-off that made it nowhere because nobody gives a shit about John. But so John and Ted, my apologies. Or John and Billy, my apologies. You said Ted, and now my brain's stuck on Ted. Fuck.
Well, to get us away from that, I'll share, Lori Cardili, I'm not quite sure, our Dr. Sarah Bowman, as you were saying, one of the only really women in the movie, but a very strong character. I have a quote from her. She was in some interview, I forget which. She shared that Romero could have made me the sexy little twit bouncing around with a gun, much more of the sexual element, but he made her more intelligent and strong. In fact, whenever I would try and make her a little more emotional, he would not allow me to do that. So he really wanted this like grounded, sort of like science-y, strong character. And I think she played the part pretty well.
Absolutely.
She actually kind of wanted to go hard in the other direction with some of the stuff that he even gave. Because I think I was watching the documentary that was based on the making of this film, and she was saying like she tried to get him to make the character a little bit more gritty than it was, and he just wanted her to kind of be like not average looking, but like down to earth.
Yeah.
He didn't want any real flair. He didn't want her to kind of look like some victim of the post-apocalyptic whatever, because she was talking about like having like busted teeth and being a bit more dirty. And he's like, no, I don't want that. You don't need to blend in with zombies.
Right.
So she was trying to go a little bit more post-apocalyptic than he was trying to present this particular crew, because these are like survivors underground that have kind of separated themselves from that.
Yeah.
The
Or
whole
have tried to.
The whole point of this film is to basically show that even in a small section of society, humanity is just going to have a lot of trouble getting along with itself.
Yeah. Romero described it as, right, a tragedy about how a lack of human communication causes chaos and collapse even in the small little pie slice of society.
And yeah, none of these people got along at all.
Well, our civilian friends, Bill and John, seemed like they were, chilling. They had their little RV set up and
Right? That little fucking paradise patio thing that they set up.
Is that what the other doctor's name is? I'm sorry. Now that I'm thinking about it.
The other doctor
or
is Ted Fisher.
Okay, so that is Ted. Okay, the other doctor is named Ted, and he seemed kind of down to earth. So John, Bill, and Ted kind of seemed down to earth. Logan was batshit crazy. Almost everybody on the military side was batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And our good boy Miguel was just losing his mind from moment one.
Yeah.
Like he was unhinged. And the actor himself said that he had a lot of difficulty staying in this because he's a method actor. And so he approached it with a level of intensity to begin with. And they filmed everything out of order, so having to kind of move up and down the intensity scale, like amplify it one day and then kind of dull it the next day. He had to stay at some level of just sort of emotional intensity. He said it was very exhausting. So personally, outside of Bub, if there was anybody that I loved in the film, it was Miguel. I mean, he was definitely batshit crazy, but I liked him.
For sure.
I didn't get enough from our two buddies, our chopper guy and the guy that's trying to maintain the rust in the building. I didn't get enough from them to really love too much. They were kind. They were nice. John was definitely philosophical.
Right.
They were smart enough to stay the fuck away from the soldiers.
Gotta give him credit for that. Yeah. But I mean, John and Bill were really, I think, pushing Sarah to consider, right, what does it look like to just try to enjoy what you have left.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
I like that he's basically said you're kind of doing things the wrong way. He had a whole line, and I should have written that shit down, and I didn't.
Yeah, right. So while you're looking that up, I'll just state, right, a lot of the movie is sort of played between the tension of the scientists who are looking for some kind of solution, whether it's domesticating the zombies or finding a cure for the virus or disease, a tension with like the military trying to keep people safe, trying to keep the zombies managed, and pushing the scientists to complete their task. And then like, you know, the civilians here, Bill, who I think is like the radio guy, and then John, who is our pilot, and they're just trying to like live their life and enjoy what they have left. So the movie is really looking at the tension between these very different perspectives.
Still looking it up.
All right.
Of course you
It's
are.
like you gave this lengthy thing, and I'm listening, and I'm nodding my head, but I'm over here trying to find something, and I am. This is why I should have these things just sitting here in front of me. I'm terrible.
Yeah, I never come prepared. The book.
Oh, here we go. This is a great big 14-mile tombstone with an epitaph on it that nobody's going to bother to read. Now here you come with, Here you come with a whole new set of charts and graphs and records. And what are you going to do? Bury them down here with all the other relics of what once was? Let me tell you what else. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what else. You ain't never going to figure it out. Sorry, I can't do this with the intensity that John did this. You ain't never going to figure it out why. Just like they never figured out why the stars are where they're at. It ain't mankind's job to figure that stuff out. So what you're doing is a waste of time, Sarah. And time is all we got left. So this was his speech to tell her that.
I kind of love John.
I like him, and nothing wrong. Like I said, I liked Miguel more than him. He had his philosophical moments, but I didn't get into him as much as Miguel. Miguel was just batshit crazy, and I liked him for it.
This is a little too batshit crazy for me. I'm already emotional enough.
Character.
I'm not saying he was a nice guy. I mean, he was.
Yeah, the commitment really shines through, and I mean, every time he's on screen, it's just like, man, this guy is not having a good time.
Right?
I mean, but of all the actors in that film, outside of was it Sherman Howard?
Yeah.
Of all the actors in that film, I think that he was the one that committed the most to his character.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure.
I think there's a good argument with Joe Pilato and committing to Rhodes. I mean, he does bring a lot of intensity and asshole energy.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to do something that Nico's done in the past. She's done this in the past where she has denounced an actor because he was such an asshole in the film. I said, yes, but he played such a good asshole that you hated him so much you didn't even want to give him
That means
credit.
he did his job right.
Right. So that's just what I just did with Joe. I hated the character so much that I didn't even give him credit for how much of an asshole he truly was in that film.
Yeah.
So you know what? Joe Pilato, my apologies. You were right up there with the intensity that Mr. DeLeo brought to his role as well. That's
in some ways it's a compliment. From like some of the reading and stuff I found, it sounds like he, did a few conventions and meet and greets with fans and was supposed to be a nice guy. So it's nice that, he wasn't the asshole that he portrayed.
Yeah, Terry Alexander, the guy that played John, constantly has to do that Jamaican accent because nobody believes it's him. It's like, no, you weren't the guy that was in that film, and he has to do the whole. I'm not going to do a Jamaican accent to kind of mock up what he was doing because I think it would be mildly insulting coming out of me. Right. It wouldn't be good. I'd trash it within 2 seconds. So, are there any scenes in the film that kind of stuck out to you as either particularly intense or something that even though you've only watched it once, it's not something you're going to forget anytime soon?
Definitely table brain zombie.
Okay, the camel clit.
Camel clit.
camel clit zombie.
Table brain zombie.
Yeah,
It is
a
a
table brain zombie sounds better. Yeah,
table brain zombie
I'm
sounds
not too
better,
fond
but
of camel clit.
hey, I wasn't the one that came up with it. That was just something
No,
they came up with.
doesn't mean we gotta fucking enforce it.
It is a product of an environment where most of these were mostly guys that were doing this film back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So Dr. Tongue and Camel Clit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what got passed around.
I mean, I did really like that sort of philosophical discussion John has with Sarah in terms of like really setting the tone and philosophy of the movie, or like some of the driving questions. Also like seeing Bub, right, kind of remember what it is to be human was really interesting, and something that, I mean, before this I don't think we saw in any zombie movie. But him listening to music, remembering his aunt, I don't remember her name, Angela or something like that, right, like playing with the gun, that was like very new for a zombie
Shaving his
movie.
face.
Yeah.
Literally shaving off part of his face.
Yeah.
Like, they could have taken the razor out of that and it could have gotten the same effect, but no, they had to shave off pieces of skin. Yeah.
Well,
Dramatic effect.
When you have people like Savini, and I think this was actually Greg Nicotero's debut as well, you get lots of opportunities for some cool effects.
I mean, outside of all the gore, this is one of my favorite zombie films just because of the level of gore and the amount of effort they put in for such a small budget.
Yeah.
But there were definitely a couple of things that stood out to me, things that I didn't remember the last few times that I watched it that I do now.
Mm-hmm.
So the Baker zombie, at some point in the film, we're at the end where we're having all the zombie carnage. You know, the rest of the military is being torn apart. Rhodes is close to his end. Or actually, this might have been just after Rhodes found his end. And there is a scene in and around where, what is that big military guy's name?
Steele?
Steele, there we go. Sorry, my brain I couldn't remember his name for the life of me, and it's such a generic action guy name. It's usually somebody's last name, like, John Steele or whatever. This is just his name.
Buddy's Steele and Rickles.
It's just fucking Steele. Rickles, oh my God. That laughing hyena of a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Anyway, there's this whole scene where the butcher is basically sitting where Steele was and just munching on guts. And that by itself would not normally make that scene memorable. But sitting directly next to the Baker zombie, my apologies, is this other guy who, for some reason, decided his zombie just likes to fucking watch. And so the entire time, this zombie's just kind of tapping his hands on the wall and just staring intensely. Didn't want to eat the fucking guts. Is just watching this Baker.
It was rotting pig
eat.
guts, so...
Right. But it was just, I had to watch it a couple times here that I almost died laughing. Yeah. Like, there was nothing about those scenes that made me laugh quite as much as just the voyeuristic zombie just staring at the Baker eating the guts. Don't know why that made me laugh. Now when you go back and watch the film, you'll be like, oh yeah, I see what he means.
Yeah.
The clown didn't even make me laugh, even though he popped up like 5 times at the end of the film. Just random clown zombie. Short king zombie. The short... Basically, I want to say Pee Wee League fucking zombie in a football uniform.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Some guy that seemed to stumble into Zombieville out of a rodeo.
Yeah.
It's like, I think they just rated like whatever. Hey, what costumes are you guys throwing out today? Okay, we're going to use all of those.
Right.
This one's ripped. This one's
Small
too
budget.
small. You know.
You know, you gotta work with whatever is available at the studio, I guess.
Well, it's
We're gonna name each zombie after what they're wearing.
it's October, so I'm assuming these are all. If they're saying that it was October, these are all like costumes from Halloween that maybe people were wearing
right
in Florida.
Yeah.
So. Any other scenes that kind of stood out to you, or?
Yeah. So when one of the privates, military guys, is on the table and getting torn apart, and they tear his head off as he's screaming, and the vocal cords stretch, you hear the pitch change, and that is one like scene that definitely sticks with me. Just getting your head pulled off, we've seen a lot of times, but that actual like changing of the voice as it happens, I think was just so inspired.
Like, I mean, really decent attention to detail.
Yeah.
I think like the guy, there was one of the zombies, he died early on. I think it was the first one that, it was one of the military guys. He had died because Miguel kind of lost his shit. And he ended up getting his neck torn open, and then that guy ended up shooting the other guy, and you see him beheaded in a later scene. And the head is still moving. That guy, the actor that they had made that cast out of, took the head home and scared the living shit out of his mother.
Oh my God.
I guess he must have like left it on. He left it like on the bed or something, and his mother just walked into the room and absolutely lost her shit. Because it was pretty close to what he would look like, you know.
Right. Props to again the effects team on that.
Thanks.
I mean, you're talking back in the 1980s. The Tom Savini was like way ahead of his time for like special effects gore.
Yeah,
like the things that guy could do with practical effects was just amazing.
Right.
And that is why he is the king of gore.
Yeah, and I do want to call out too, like compared to Dawn of the Dead, the makeup on the zombies here is a huge step up. In Dawn, right, we get our like they have this big puff of blue powder and they hit your face with it, and now you're a zombie. They definitely went the extra mile here.
I think the problem was that from what he was saying, Tom Savini actually has had something to do with each and every one of these films in the makeup department. And the problem was that he had created the original zombie makeup effects for a Night of the Living Dead and wasn't thinking about how that color was going to translate onto a full color movie.
Yep.
And so he did all the makeup and special effects, and they really couldn't go back and reshoot a lot of it. So he was stuck with this. I mean, great special effects nonetheless, but the makeup was a lot more like purplish blue than he had really intended it to be.
Yep.
I guess for this film, they actually had 3 tiers of zombies. So there was like the ones, the what they would call featured zombies, which got like a lot of the special effects, like makeup and everything, a lot of the prosthetics, a lot of extra detail. Then the next tier was just sort of light prosthetics at best and mostly makeup. And then the last tier, and you can tell during that scene where they all descend into the area, like the 300 zombies that come down on the elevator, you can tell the ones that just had masks.
Yeah.
You can see the masks.
Ones in the fucking like cave tunnel, whatever.
Yes. You could pick them out in the crowd. And they didn't focus on them a lot, but you could see it on the elevator. There was a good, like, maybe 20 guys in masks.
Right.
It's like...
which, again, that's
low
small
budget. Take what you can get.
Right. They made their choices, and I think they made pretty reasonable choices.
For sure.
There was one of them that kind of looked like they had like an inside out, like a Doc Brown mask from like Back to the Future, but the hair was just wild. It's like, that's a little bit of overkill, but it's still fun. It's still fun. Right. Anything you didn't particularly like about the film?
It is exploring some really interesting ideas, right? Like the tension that I talked about before. It's thinking about like what does it mean to be a human and a zombie, and that there's really more overlap than people might expect. Same like kind of exploration in Dawn of the Dead, really centered around consumerism. But what that results in is a movie with a lot of like dialogue and people talking, yelling at each other. And so there are some moments where it's moving a little slow. And so I think it's probably a good thing that we cut back from our original Gone with the Wind of the zombie films for that reason.
Well, I wonder what his original vision would have looked like. Like, it would be fun to have somebody get a hold of the original script and actually make something out of it to see what George Romero's original vision was. I know that they've
That'd be
done
interesting.
2 remakes to this. So, they did
Right.
Dawn of the Dead, a remake of Dawn of the Dead, and technically kind of did the sequel, but not quite with Day of the Dead. And then they did Day of the Dead Bloodlines, but I think that they were both more faithful adaptations of the original film and not necessarily something that approached what he originally wanted the film to be.
Yeah.
So I say if you're going to make a Dawn of the Dead or a Day of the Dead again, find the original script, the 240-page original script.
And it's out there, a little quick Googling, and I was able to find it. It does sound like originally, the scope is just going to be way bigger. There was going to be an entire town above ground. There were going to be like armies of domesticated zombies to fight the other zombies. And governor of Florida as like a villain, which, who would have thought?
I mean,
Governor
kind
of
of on
Florida
par.
as a villain.
Governor of Florida. So, some really interesting things that could have been.
Still could be.
Still could be if you're out there.
Tom Savini's still out there. Bring him back.
Have him
helm. I mean, I believe even the guy that played Steel, he's still out there.
We're in the age of too many remakes anyway. Might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, but see, that wouldn't be a remake, though. Right. That wouldn't be a remake. That would be actually making a new film based off of his original version or vision, and not what I guess the corporate powers that be were willing to pay for.
Right.
Because he had to pare back on it and agree to kind of scale it down a bit, even for them to get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that he wanted more gore, he wanted more zombies. He didn't want an hour-and-a-half film where for at least 60 minutes of it, there's really no zombies. It's just dialogue between these characters underground.
Right.
They did
what
not
about
have
you, B?
fun doing that.
Was there anything that you're not so on board for?
What, me? Oh,
yeah. We are talking to you, Miss.
I know, right? Fucking damn. Sorry, man. My brain's fucking fried. I just got off work.
That's all right.
Fucking, I like the movie. Top tier for fucking special effects or practical effects, whatever. But yeah, it was really slow and hard to like pay attention to all the dialogue and fucking whatever for me. But either way, regardless of all like what felt like stagnation, fucking, it was still good. And I love Bub.
Yeah.
That's my baby.
Okay, you're giving a lot of love. We're asking what you didn't like.
It's so hard to not love Bub.
It's hard not to love Bub. I'm not a big fan of Steel. Fucking.
No. I'd say I didn't mind Steel as much as I didn't like Rickles.
Yeah. All the fucking racist comments out of Steele's mouth every fucking 5 minutes is not ideal.
No, that's not ideal either. I just didn't like Rickles. He was kind of
Rhodes.
he was very sexually focused on Sarah and made a lot
Yeah.
of weird comments that I didn't particularly like.
Yeah.
That too.
So
Rickles also like felt very much just like a follower, and there are moments where Steele is really contemplating Rhodes' like authority, especially in that scene where Rhodes is telling Steele to shoot Sarah if she doesn't sit down, and there's this sort of power struggle.
Yeah.
Steele hesitates, right? Like he is at least thinking and has a little bit of agency. Rickles, I think, probably would have just done it and then laughed.
hear me out. He reminds me of a little bit of one of the hyenas
Yeah.
from The Lion King,
Yeah.
just a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yep.
Was it like there's maybe a bobcat goldthwait hyena in there somewhere?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's probably my least favorite actor in the film. Next thing we're gonna talk about here is I want to ask. We're gonna give out 3 awards: best zombie in the film that's not Bub,
Damn.
because you know that everybody's gonna go for Bub first. Best zombie in the film that was not Bub, best actor in the film, and worst actor in the film. Go.
Hang on, I'm pulling my shit back up. 1 second.
Of course, I gotta ask you those questions once everything's fallen to the wayside.
I'll say favorite zombie. We started off really strong with, as we now know him, Dr. Tongue. I think it just looks really great. I think the fact that they originally messed up the puppet just really added so much to it. It gave it this decayed look. It looked awesome. It was a great way to start the film.
Okay. My favorite zombie in the film is going to be the secondary zombie to Bub. There's basically one of the two that are just chained to the wall, and at one point he has this just conniption fit, flips over the gurney, and that prompts Dr. Frankenstein there to scold him. That was very bad. You sit in the dark and think about what you just did. Like he scolded him like a child. And he turns off the light, and immediately he reacts to being in the dark alone. Just, I don't like
no.
that. No.
I'm so alone.
So he outside of Bub, he would have been my favorite zombie in the film.
There was a zombie, like when everyone's killed and whatever, and you're looking over the wandering guys. There was a lady eating, I think it was pieces of roads, and she couldn't figure out how to get the necklace, the fucking dog tags out of her mouth.
That's a good one. And mind you, my close second is still voyeuristic. Hey man, you gonna eat that zombie?
Right.
You finished with that? Can I have some? And of course, best actor.
I'm partial to John.
You're partial to John?
Terry Alexander.
Yes.
One of the things that I thought was funny, watching this, was at some point Steele calls him Flyboy, which reminds me of Dawn of the Dead with our pilot there, Steven, I think. There was another little like Easter egg call out that John does for Dawn of the Dead where he says like all the shopping malls are closed now. So those little things, those hints, right? We're still in the same universe. I thought
to touch back at.
Yeah. I'll share. Right, for me, it's got to be Joseph Pilato as Rhodes. He is just such an asshole. He gives us one of my favorite quotes of the movie, which is, "I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time." Love it.
Yep, that's probably one of the better lines of the film. I think we all have different people that we loved. I'm going to give my best actor to Anthony DeLeo, Miguel. I just think that there was just the right amount of intensity for that guy throughout the film, and knowing that this was all filmed out of order, so he had to kind of mentally keep track of the progression of that mental illness that he was going through. I have to be on high this day, and I have to be near the middle this day, and close to the beginning over here. I'm going to have to give it to him, Anthony DeLeo. That's my best actor here. And worst actor in the film, folks.
Honestly, I'm kind of leaning toward Fisher, Ted.
Ted.
That's
He didn't
kind of
really
who
like
I,
stand out very much for me.
yeah. Yeah.
He's just there.
Okay. Okay.
And I thought the acting was fine. You know, I think that just the character himself is just kind of there. You know, he pushes the story along in a couple of places, but just didn't feel
But
as
not really.
impactful, yeah, as a lot of the others. And so I think probably as an actor, he's like totally fine. The character was just kind of, you know,
Bland.
yeah, it was
There
there.
was
He definitely was secondary to our Dr. Logan, aka Frankenstein. So
I mean, he didn't. I don't think he had a lot of meat in the role to really. He was definitely a
right.
subordinate character the entire time, and even when he was presented as angry in certain situations, it just didn't have enough, I guess, memorable force to the delivery of the
Yeah.
lines. So I'm gonna have to say John Amplis as well. Though honestly, Ralph Marrero as Rickles, right up there. But I think his character was supposed to be annoying, so he did a
Right.
decent job of doing that.
Right. I think that's probably good acting, bad character.
Bad character, great acting,
Yeah.
So John Amplis definitely. Okay, so I mean, we're gonna go on our IMDb scale of 1 out of 10. What are you gonna give this film?
What are we rating it with?
What are we
That's
rating
the
it with?
question.
There you go. There you go. You rate it and throw something at it. I don't want to completely steal. We're gonna have to come up with our own thing because I don't want to steal our good friends at Two Chicks Talking Flicks. I don't want to steal their gig. That's their shtick, and I would feel bad. She'll pop onto the thing and like, you're doing what we do now,
You're a butt.
right? I'm sure we can find something,
Yeah.
but we'll do it one more time. Sorry, Sarah. We'll do it one more time, and then we'll kick it back to them and let them have their thing. I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and give this. It wasn't my favorite of the George Romero films, honestly, but it definitely was not bottom of the barrel. I think that if they had gone with his original vision, it would give me something a little bit more to enjoy because we would have had more of that gore and more of the zombies, and it definitely would have been pushing that NR rating a little harder. So I'm going to give this a good 7.5 Bub's Walkmans.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to give it. Okay, either one of you can go next. I don't care which one.
I was leaning pretty close to that, but 7.5 Rickles fingers.
Oh, yeah. Wait, hold on. Before I don't mean to cut you off, but did you guys notice that there was a wedding ring on one of those fingers?
Yep.
Nice.
Somebody was married to that. Okay, moving on.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So, I mean, I really like the tension that Romero is playing with between the different perspectives on how do you get through this kind of apocalypse. I like this. It like they're like exploring this overlap of zombieism and humanism. There's some cool ideas. It's one of Romero's favorites of the trilogy. It is his favorite. I do like this one quite a bit, and it has like Dawn of the Dead. It's kind of a hangout movie in that you're in the same location with the same characters over time. But whereas like Dawn's kind of fun in that sense, Day it has a lot more weight to it. I think it is like there's a kind of lull in the middle, but overall, definitely an enjoyable film. I would give it like 7 zombie arms coming out of the wall in Dr. Sarah Bowman's Nightmare out of 10.
That's a good rating. Actually, I was looking at a few things while I was trying to find that information for John's little speech there, and there is something. There technically is a direct sequel to this that uses a lot of the material that he had to cut out of this film. That is
hopefully not the pig guts.
No, that is the beginning of the second trilogy of films. So he had Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead.
Yeah.
And Land of the Dead was supposed to be almost the direct sequel to Day of the Dead that actually had some of the cutout material from this film. So
Okay.
we got to find a way to take Land and Day and merge them.
Right.
Which, don't merge the actual movies, just make a new movie.
Someone has made a fan cut out there.
For sure.
I'm sure. Just cut all 6 films together, right. Some epic length monstrosity.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Any other final thoughts on the film before we say goodbye for the night?
I've said what I have to say.
I need more gore.
I mean, make more, but we don't have George Romero with us anymore. Somebody's going to have to pick up the helm. I think his closest confidant. We still have Savini around. Tom Savini. Have
Savini fucking link up with Darren Aronofsky.
Ooh, okay, that would work. I was thinking, what is that guy's name? Snowpiercer? Parasite?
Oh, yeah.
John Bong, not John Bong Jovi.
No, that's
okay then.
It's like Kim Bong Joon or something like Bong Joon Ho. Why did I say Kim? Fuck! I just made him a Korean dictator. Shit. Okay, I need to stop talking for the night. That was a wrong turn and a half. Bring him in. Bring them both in. That would make for some interesting collaboration, anyway.
Yeah,
Tom Savini with both of those directors, kind of splitting the. You could do kind of have a collaborate.
It's about time that happens.
I've lost control of my tongue, and it took an hour this time. It was usually like 2 minutes into any broadcast. It was.
Yep.
All right. Well, we have a Dr. Tongue of our own. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Lots of love for Bong Joon-ho and
Darren Aronofsky. I was saying it could be like a collaboration like they had with Tarantino and Rodriguez.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Well.
Yeah. Well, let's see that Gone with the Wind of zombie films.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us here on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you happen to be listening to this particular podcast. And in the weeks to come, we're going to be approaching more zombie movies and a series of barbarian films with our good friends over at the Strange and Beautiful Book Club podcast. Also, we are going to be bringing back our Pitch Storms as a YouTube exclusive. So you're not going to be able to hear it here on Spotify or Good Pods or wherever you're listening to us audio-wise. But if you pop on over to YouTube, you'll be able to see us having a little bit of fun pitching ludicrous films and basically making a mockery of the idea of writing up a script because we never really write anything that isn't really, really, really strange.
Yeah.
And if you want to pay us for some of our ideas, we're more than willing to let you have them too.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. And as Miss B is always fond of saying,
drink some fucking water, you thirsty bitches. I got something a little spicier.
Spicy water.
Spicy water!
I got my own spicy water sitting in the fridge, but that's waiting until tomorrow. A little bit of a chai tea.
My weekend's starting right now. Let's go.
Somebody sold me chai tea mead.
Oh.
That should be interesting.
That's the word I would use.
He said, the guy sold me. He said, if you like chai tea, this won't disappoint. It definitely tastes heavily of chai. And I go, heavily? Like sucking on a tea bag or heavily like it's got a strong chai flavor? You got to be more specific when you say heavily to me.
You will find out.
Right.
Yeah.